welcome to Double TRM News. Today our topic is Federal Reserve System. I am Ruby Fuentes, and with me today is Marie Valois, an expert in Federal Reserve purposes. Hi Marie.
Hi Ruby, thank you for having me here today.
You're welcome. Can you give us a general idea about the purpose of Federal Reserve System?
Sure, the Federal Reserve System establishes with numerous responsibilities, but in general, our main purposes are to fostering a sound banking system and a healthy economy.
How do you guys do that?
We regulate financial institutions, manage the nation's money, and influence the economy.
Can you give us a little bit more details?
Sure, we basically raising and lowering interest rates, creating money, and using a few other tricks.
And what is the result of doing that?
We are able to maintain low inflation, high employment rates, and manufacturing output.
Thank you, Marie, for the information. We learned a lot. Now let's pass it on to Thong with the Board of Governors.
Thank you, Ruby. I'm here today with Chairman and Vice Chairman of the Board of Governors. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Ruby, the Chairman, and this is Rick, the Vice Chairman. We got appointed, hey, I'm over here. We got appointed by the President for a 4-year term.
So can you inform us a little bit more about your duties at Board of Governors?
Sure. For me personally, as the Chairman, I have to make reports twice a year for Congress. And testify before Congress on numerous other issues, and we meet periodically with the Secretary of Treasury. Rick?
And other board governors officials are also called to testify before Congress, and they maintain regular contact with the other governors as organizations as well.
Besides you guys, how many other people are there in the Board of Governors?
There are 7 other members of the Board of Governors guide Federal Reserve policies actions, study together in the economy, and also help forecast the country's future economic direction.
We also participate in monetary making in the FOMC. We are responsible for keeping a sound, safe banking system for the 12 banks.
Thank you so much for so much information.
Hi, I'm here right now at the Federal Reserve Bank. Reserve banks are decentralized components of the Fed structure. They conduct research on the economy, supervise banks in the regions, and provide financial services to the banks and the U.S. government. So basically, Bob, the Federal Reserve System is divided into 12 districts. Here you can see the Reserve Bank process. The Treasury payments, sells its securities, and assists with its cash management and investment activities. They conduct research on national and regional economics. Also, they prepare Reserve Bank presidents for the participation on the FOMC and disseminate information in the economy through publication speeches and educational workshops and websites. Okay, let's pass it back on to Ruby. Thank you, Lucy. Now we have Nikki waiting at Target, waiting for us to talk about the FOMC.
Are we on? Oh! FOMC, standing for Federal Open Market Committee, is the Fed's chief body for monetary policy. Its voting memberships combines the 7 members of the Board of Governors, the President of the Federal Reserve Banks, and New York, and 4 other Reserve Bank presidents who serve 1-year terms on a rotating basis with the other Reserve Bank presidents. All Reserve Bank presidents attend FOMC meetings. By tradition, the chairman of the FOMC is also the chairman of the Board of Governors. FOMC typically meet 8 times a year in Washington, D.C., and their topic for discussion include a senior official at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York discuss of developments in the financial and foreign exchange markets. Staff from the Boards of Governors then presents their economy and financial forecast. The Boards of Governors and all 12 Reserve Banks presidents offer their view and forecasting the economy outlook. With this wealth of up-to-date national, international, and regional information, the FOMC discusses the monetary policy options that will best promote the economy's sustainable growth. There are 12 Federal Reserve Banks throughout the United States. Let's tune into Victor, our map guy, for more information. FOMC and these.
Thank you, Lily. Now here's the United States with the 12 banks. You have Maine, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, and then you have Iowa, Arkansas, Minnesota, Colorado, Texas, and then you have Oregon.
Thanks, Victor. Joining me today is the roundtable discussion, Matthew and Julian. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us today, Ruby. I'm really excited to talk about monetary policy.
Then let's not delay any further and start this roundtable, shall we? Can you give us a general idea on monetary policy?
Monetary is the policy for pursuing the economic goals of price stability and maximum employment, also called dual mandate. There are three tools that we use to achieve this goal.
And what are those?
We have discount rate, reserve, requirement, and open market operations.
Let's focus on each one individually. What happens with discount rate?
Is the interest rate reserve banks charge commercial banks for short-term loans. Federal Reserve lending at the discount rate complements open market operation in achieving the target federal funds rate and serves as a backup source of liquidity for commercial banks.
And lowering the discount rate is expansionary because the discount rate fluency others interest rate. Lower rates encouraging lending and spending by consumer and business. Higher rates. Where was I?
Higher rates discourage.
Yes.
Well, okay, well, higher rates discourage lending and spending by consumers and businesses, right? That's what you're gonna say.
Yeah, totally.
What about requirements in open market operations?
It's the portion of deposit that bank must hold in cash, either their vaults or on deposit at the reserve bank. The board of governors has sole authority over change to reserve requirement. And the Fed rarely changed the reserve requirement.
The most frequently used tool is the open market operation, the buying and selling of U.S. government securities. This tool is directed by the FOMC and carried out by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Whoa, that is a lot of information. I guess the audience have a lot of questions by far, so let's move on to Q&A with Mark and Miley. Hello, and welcome to Q&A Corner with Mark and Miley, where we answer all of your questions in the easiest way possible.
And we already have a call. Hello, you're on Q&A Corner with Mark and Miley. What's your question?
Hello, I wanted to know how can the Federal Reserve protect the consumer and manage window lending and its state as the main purpose of supervising and regulating. Every 2 weeks, the Fed would determine the amount of money it wanted to lend on a particular day. It would set a minimum interest rate at which it was willing to lend the money. The banks that wanted to borrow would bid on the amount of money they wanted to borrow and the interest rate that they were willing to pay. The Fed would sort up the bids according to the interest rate offered. Beginning with the highest interest rate and working its way down, the Fed would add the amounts of money requested until the amount requested equaled the amount the Fed wanted to lend. The interest rate charged would be equal to the lowest rate offered among the banks whose bids were accepted.
And we are running out of time, so let's read one last email to the audience.
Dear Q&A, what is financial services of Federal Reserve?
It is a short, critical task of providing a safe and efficient method of transferring funds throughout the country's banking system. Reserve banks and their branches carry out this mission, offering financial services to all financial institutes in the United States, regardless of the size of the location.
And that is all the time we have for today's news.